and thank you for joining me tonight. I have a great show tonight talking to you guys about opening upstate New York. One of the issues that we want to discuss tonight is unemployment. Many people have been waiting for weeks upon weeks to get through to unemployment, and then today CNN came out and said that New York State has no money for unemployment. So what is a small business owner, a family, people out of work? What are we to do? We have to come up with some solutions here in upstate New York. The death toll numbers, Onondaga County is 25, Cayuga County is 2 deaths, Chemung County is 1. Out of 62 counties in upstate New York, we have far under 50 deaths in each county. Far below the federal threshold that we shouldn't even have shut down anyways. Not to mention the hospitals that are having to close. I have a long list of those. And we just really need to get into what's real. Let's get into the facts. And let's hear from people. Tonight I'm going to be taking callers. I have a guest who's going to be joining us in a little while to tell us about a wedding story where the vendor's still charging money. But I'll save those details for a little while. Thanks, Jeff, for tuning in. Thanks, Nick. I appreciate you guys. If you guys want to hit the share button so more people can hear me, that would be awesome. But also, I want to discuss the PPP. Many businesses, the first round, were left out. They didn't have any opportunity to get to the banks. Banks still gave out money to corporate office or corporate businesses, while the small businesses still suffered. This round, I think some people had more success, but nonetheless, people really have no recourse. So since the time that New York State went into quarantine and people were let out of their jobs, you're talking about a period of 6 weeks. If we go till May 15th, then we really have another issue because some businesses cannot come out on the other side of that. Some businesses will not be able to survive. And while most people are at home and living in fear, the mask issue is a whole nother gripe that I have, because we went out here at the peak of this virus, of the unknown, where masks were not important. We didn't need to. We could do them if we chose to. And now that everything's on a decline, New York City numbers are dropping. And I'm going to be honest, I don't believe that it's New York City's numbers were that high due to population density. The numbers really indicate murder. And so now that more nurses, more doctors will continue to speak up and speak out about the situation, I think we have to really look at that. And that can't hold upstate New York hostage. We have to open up businesses. The law enforcement have an oath to protect us, the people. And so if we're out and we're opening up businesses, law enforcement also has a side to choose. They have to decide, are they going to defend we the people, or will they risk following orders of an executive order which will put them in trouble with the federal government. So this is a very serious situation that we have, and I know I've gotten a lot of flack for being very vocal about opening up and saying that this will just cause another sickness, but we're talking about a virus that has a 0.1 to 0.3% death rate, which is the same thing as the flu. And I question why every gas station, every store, Walmart, all of these places that stayed open, nobody's sick. Everybody, I still see the same people in my local stores every time I go in. So I personally, I'm not going to shop if you want me to go in your store and wear a mask. I have been healthy this entire time. Most people here in upstate New York have been healthy this entire time. I'm not saying that there's not a virus out there, but I'm saying that most of us are going to be okay if we have this virus. And so with that being said, I really started getting vocal about the unemployment issue because it's happening to me too. As a small business owner, a sole proprietor, I waited with no recourse because the children that I watch, their parents lost their jobs. So it's like, okay, we'll wait it through. When Donald Trump said that sole proprietors could receive unemployment during this COVID crisis, I applied at the end of March 27th, and it's been now 6 weeks. I have called countless times, hour after hour, hundreds of times, to get hung up on, to just be dismissed. And finally, 3 weeks ago now, I got the phone call that someone would call me in 72 hours, and that still has not happened. So, and for me, with daycare, I can get some kids when people go back to work. That's okay. But what about the people who have small businesses that need customers, they need consumers, and meanwhile they still have leases, they still have light bills, they have dual expenses, and people are choosing to pay their mortgage or pay their hair salon note. And they're also starting to open up against the orders, and I support those that do. I think we need to have a very large movement, if not a class action lawsuit. And I say that because we have farmers who are dumping thousands and thousands of gallons of milk. We have animals being euthanized. This has got to stop because we need the food. We need a direct source from farmers to source, to buy direct. We have a lot here in upstate New York. We have a lot of farmers who need people to buy from them, but we don't have the platform to buy direct as a consumer. I personally would love to buy fresh milk from my farm, a dairy farm locally, and avoid Walmart at all costs if I could. So one of the things that I'm trying to coordinate with the hard-hitting issues with the farming industry is to hear their stories in addition. But another danger that we have to look at as we stay shut down, while people are losing their businesses, people are also losing their farms. Many farmers are suicidal, and that is just something that we have to look at. The mental health of how this is devastating, more so than being afraid of catching a virus. We've really got to think about, if we stay here knowing the statistics, knowing that the death rate is 0.1 to 0.3. That's like us being afraid of the flu. Of course, I get that it's unknown. I get that we had this unknown thing. And I feared too, of course, initially. But now we have the real facts. Now we have the reality. And I have the data from all of the counties that have the death up until this point, and we are on the decline. So at no time should Upstate, most places in Upstate should have never closed. Never. And what it is going to do in an already devastated economy is going to put us in a place, and we know Cuomo doesn't give a crap about Upstate New York, let's be honest. I mean, it's been awful for so long now. He literally wants conservatives to leave the state. So if we're going to really take a look at this, we have to look at it as a whole, not just one thing that we can be upset about. We have to really look at the facts. The numbers support everything that I'm saying to you. I'm telling you that we are in our houses, losing our jobs, having our food be depleted, dumped, and wasted because we're afraid of going out and getting sick, which is exactly what we have done this entire time. So with that being said, we do have a guest who's going to be calling in and sharing their wedding. My cousin Kelly, she was supposed to be getting married in May and had to move her wedding until October, luckily with no other issues. Another young lady that I know, she had a wedding planned and they had to move theirs. But the reason why this story is incredibly different or unique is that they're getting screwed in every way, not just from New York State, but also on the deposits and the fees. And we're going to take that call, and then I've encouraged everybody else to keep calling. The number to call in is 563-999-3072. I know that it's an Iowa number, but that's just the station for the podcast. I don't pick the number. So you can call, and again, the number is 563-999-3072 if you want to call in. And I can't take a lot of stories, but what I would like is quick calls. Call up, hi, I'm Stephanie from Syracuse, and it's been 6 weeks for me for unemployment, and I can't get a PPP loan, so that's my situation. I want to have a record of all of these people who I've been hearing from in groups, and be a voice, because that's what we have to do. We have to talk about these issues. We have to talk about what's really going on for us, and I want to come up with solutions of how to open. On Friday, May 1st, this Friday, there will be a mass protest in Albany. If you can get to Albany, we have a right to assemble. It is our First Amendment right, and although we have executive orders, they are unconstitutional. And I know not everybody can make it to Albany, so several cities have stuff lined up in front of town halls. You could probably look up for Open New York and any of your on Facebook, and you can probably find several groups that have those things organized. But you have to stay onto it, because Facebook is censoring these things. They don't want us to assemble. They don't want us to get together. Yes, Richie, there is going to be one in Syracuse, and if I cannot make it to Albany on Friday, I will be at that protest on Friday in the Syracuse to represent, and probably will be in Syracuse just because that's where I'm from. And I do know Ryan McMahon, our county executive, he has sent a letter to Cuomo. He was planning to do that this week to open up Upstate. However, I did see Cuomo tweet out that nobody's going to be opening up, and probably by the 15th. So the point is, I need to hear from you guys. I need to hear your stories. Can you make it until the 15th? If you cannot, if your business cannot survive until May 15th, if you have no way to feed your family and there is no recourse, I need to hear from you guys, because I want to help you. I want to be able to help you if you have not gotten your unemployment. Especially that's big for most of us who did have jobs, or we've been furloughed, or we don't even have a job to go back to. So we can't let that happen. We have to come together as a community to take care of each other, to strengthen ourselves. But also, like I said, we've got to come up with a solution. And one of the things that I'm working on is a potential class action lawsuit. And that's what I really think. Several others are joining in lawsuits at this time for their rights, for stopping Cuomo from any further, what's the word I want to look for? Infringements on our constitutional rights. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and see if our caller is here. I don't see that they called in yet. Okay, well, we'll wait a minute more. I have to do dual things. So while I'm talking to you live here on Facebook, I have another screen open over here on my laptop, which is controlling the podcast. But that being said, I want to hear from you guys. Someone call me up, 563-999-3072. If you have a story, if you know someone that you can tell their story. The more stories that I have, the more information I have that we can try to force New York to open, but we've got to act really quick. For an attorney to take this case, it's something that I've got to hear why this is affecting you or why you cannot make it until the 15th to put pressure on Andrew Cuomo, because like I said, the numbers, the death tolls, the death rate, and the situation at hand with hospitals. There is about, and I was going through this while I have you guys here, I can look this up. There is like more than 20 hospitals in New York State that are already going under because of COVID-19. So these are hospitals that have such low, I'm hearing such low numbers. I'm sorry, our guest just chimed in, so I'm going to go ahead and connect him. Hold on one second. Hi, Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, can everybody hear? I think we're good, Steve. So can you tell me a little bit about your personal story with what's happening right now with all of our stuff being shut down, or for your sister?
Yep. I do want to start off by actually making a quick comment here with the whole small business thing real quick before I get into that. I ended up getting into a little bit of a discussion with someone on Facebook, and the whole thing with that was she made a comment saying, well, Macy's and these other fucking businesses are keeping their doors closed and shit. And then I ended up saying to her, well, they're big businesses. They're fucking businesses that have the money to be able to hold their clothing, to be able to pay their employees and stuff like that. And now when it comes to these small businesses, like there's not going to be shit from the government. And I will bet anyone that between 20 and 30% of the small businesses, I say small, they probably own like between 1 and 3 stores in their area that are going to have to be forced to remain closed and be closed for good. And they will never open their doors.
Hey, Steve, do you got a volume that you can turn up? I'm seeing that people aren't able to hear you on the audio. I can hear you, but the guests listening in can't hear you. Or at least they hear you, but not loud. Or maybe talk a little louder for me.
I am calling to my phone. This is loud as go.
Let's see what I can do. Hold on one sec. Sorry, guys. All right, go ahead and share your story about your sister. I think they'll be able to hear you now.
Okay. So the whole situation with that is that my sister ended up having her wedding set date for June 7th this year, and my sister's fiance was from Buffalo. He has family up there still, and he was in the Air Force. He was stationed up there in Buffalo, and so the whole thing with that is they ended up having to cancel their wedding. Their hands were pretty much tied because dictator Cuomo decided to fucking say that if anyone leaves New York and comes back, then they would be mandated quarantine for 14 days on top of a fine and possible jail time.
Okay.
So, last time I checked, we are a free country. We're not a fucking dictatorship.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really seems like there's a lot of this going around the country, but the reason why this is happening the way it is now is because your family cannot get down here for the wedding, or they're going to be pretty much getting fucked over.
Right.
So now, I ended up making a couple of comments on the thread to a couple, someone on there. I don't know if you ended up seeing it, but he was
Right.
And if if the venue or venues, no matter where it is in the country, say, well, we're giving your money no matter what situation, whatever decision you make. And to me, that's really fucked up to like think.
So they're saying $30,000 of a deposit they're going to keep?
That is what he ended up saying, yes. And now, with that being said, if whatever venue in this country does that, I am confident they're going to get sued by all those people, and I'm positive they will lose. Because you can't just hold on to the money. They hold on to the security deposit, but they can't just hold on to the other money.
Right.
You just paid $30,000 for your and you worked your fucking ass off to fucking put that money down for the venue for 1 day only, and now you're saying all the money I worked my ass off to fucking get and pay you guys for, you're just gonna keep it from me for free?
Right.
Like, are you serious? You kiss my ass, seriously. And now Cuomo's saying, is it June 10th now? I think I read somewhere.
Oh, wow. Well, I know May 15th for now, but I would, well, this is what I would say to you, Steve. I would say for your sister, this other person, put it out there in the groups. Get a bunch of people who are getting screwed over on their weddings and start a suit. We need to go after this dictator in every way, whether it comes from freedom of speech to our religious exemptions. We need to get together and we need to sue the crap out of him. And I know that it's corruption all the way up to the Supreme Court. However, we need a go time. If we do this, we need to hit him hard and we need to hit him now. And we also need to show up or mail in our votes in November, because this election is critical for New York State. We're currently under a trifecta. They make all the rules. They pass all the laws that they want to further their socialist agenda. And enough is enough. We, the people, have to stand up. We have to open up Upstate. I thank you for sharing your story. I've got more callers, Steve. But if I can help you or your sister in any way to help get out of this, with your fees, or connect you guys, if you get enough people together who have wedding stories, please contact me. I want to help who I can help. I just need to hear your stories. So thank you so much, Steve, for calling in, and we'll talk again soon.
One more comment, please.
Sure, go ahead.
The other thing too is that it seems like this next election, with it being critical, with the mail-in ballot, there's definitely going to be a lot of cheating on it. And I'll make this part real quick.
Yeah.
The only reason why Cuomo ended up winning his last election is because of New York City. And we split New York City into two, which will probably never happen. Last election, people out there not in New York City have voted vote Cuomo out, and that was the majority of them. But now, I mean, when that election happened, New York City didn't really end up going out to vote. Still somehow fucking won.
Right.
Fucking bullshit. Cuomo's a fucking piece of shit, and Cuomo needs to fucking go away. He needs to go. So, with that being said, thank you for letting me on. I will talk to you soon. And again, fuck Cuomo.
Thank you. You guys heard that first. Fuck Cuomo. Hi, what's your name? Hello? Hi, Jeff. Gotcha.
I was gonna use the fake name and try to do this whole thing.
We have a Democratic infiltrator, guys. I'm going to just disconnect the call now.
Damn you! I was gonna have this whole spiel, and I was gonna totally.
We don't need your fake news. Get out of here.
I am not a Democrat by any stretch of the means. I do not like Nancy Pelosi and that fucking fake changing face. Thank you very much.
All right, guys.
You never know. You never know. And I don't even know who that dude was standing next to her. One of those pictures once, one of my stand-up sets. I was like, dude, I don't think, like, both of them looked like they were, like, from, the Body Snatchers movie or whatever. Like, neither one of them looked like they were real.
All right, Jeff, I got another call. Thanks for calling in.
I'm trying to get in there. Hello?
Hi, who's calling?
Hi, this is Rusty. How are you?
Hi, how are you? What county are you calling from?
I'm actually calling from New York City.
New York City, okay.
I just wanted to say to the damn Democrats. I mean, we have, people like the likes of Howard Stern saying that, Trump needs to, step down and take the disinfectant. But the thing about it is, though, is this is what the Democrats want. It's a scary goddamn thing, and the more we get the word out there, and the more we realize that we are being infiltrated by such filth, such as Kumo, we'd be in a lot better hands. I mean, we also have to take into it back to the goddamn Chinese lies.
Okay.
So my granddaddy was a W-2, and I mean, he saw a lot of shit over there over at the Auschwitz camp. I mean, I still have a jar of gold teeth that he took from the camps.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes to show we've had some hardship before in the world, and everybody worked together. But now that we're having the hardship and we have a Republican president in office, everybody just wants to shift the blame to Trump. When in reality, I mean, this is the Chinese fault.
You know what's really interesting to me as well, because I live in a county that's highly Democrat. I'm in Onondaga County in Syracuse area, and most people, even though these are the bills that are, that's the proof is in the pudding. The bills that are being passed right now while they have all the power shows their agenda. And so most of the people that, kind of troll me for supporting Donald Trump right now, for breaking up the elite, the global elite, and going against them, most people really, they aren't even aware of the laws that are being taken place. It's almost as if they don't know that they even have constitutional rights, and they don't seem to care about them as long as they feel like they're being taken care of. And, I appreciate you being from New York City and calling in, because a lot of times, upstate New York wants people to, we want to split the state. We want to break off from New York City. It's a different way of life. But you have a totally different perspective of what's happening. You know the things that are firsthand. And what's taking place in New York City right now is not what's happening anywhere else in the country. Do you agree that there needs to be a serious investigation on the deaths that occurred in New York? Mm-hmm.
All kinds of documentation. What the hell's going on right now it's kind of scary. I mean, it is scary.
Right.
We need a complete and total inquest into this.
Agreed. Well, I really, really thank you for taking the time to call in. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Mm-hmm. Well,
I appreciate your airtime, and I hope you have a great night.
Thank you. You too. Thank you for calling in.
Of course. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys. So, a little bit more. Well, the phone lines have slowed down. Right now, here for us, Upstate, we really have to talk amongst each other, and that's the point of why I'm trying to put this together. A a lot of people are angry. They don't want us to get outside. They're afraid that we're going to cause germs. They're afraid our kids playing on the playground are going to get them sick, you know. And at this point, we're only implementing these changes on the decline. We have to come forward with our stories. We have to talk about this. Nobody really wants to talk about, like, I just publicly put my situation with unemployment. No one really wants to do that. But it's important right now because we need to act quick. We have a case. We can take this to court and demand to open up businesses if I can show that it's detrimental before May 15th. So if you know someone who's being affected, if you are yourself, please get a hold of me right away. I hate to see this pass by when we have a great opportunity to get back to work, save our businesses, save our farmers. There's no more reason for us to have to go through this. Enough is enough. If you want to live in fear, if you're afraid of the virus, if you want to listen to the fraudulent medical professionals in the CDC and the FDA or the WHO, you know, I'm not saying science and doctors are no good. I'm just saying there is serious corruption right now that have misled and misguided us and lied about the numbers. And let's be honest, this was planned. This was planned. So, we have to stop. We, the people, are the ones that have to stand up to this tyrannical government, this awful dictator, and stop allowing him. We're not going to go. We're not going to pack up our crap and go anymore. Millions of New Yorkers have left their businesses, their homes. No more people should have to lose everything, because if we stay in this place out of fear, if we stay home, we are not going to come out on the other side of this. I don't think many people know the economic impact. You can hear about it, but it's already happening. When you start hearing plan for food shortages, when you start hearing Maryland is slaughtering 20,000 chickens, when we have all of these things taking place. My grandparents escaped the Ukraine and came to New York State. They were sponsored to come here, but during the time of Stalin, they were starved to death. My grandmother told me that there was times when they were trying to leave the country, that the only thing that she would have even in a week would be like a rotten potato on the side of the road. Okay, guys? We don't want a democratic socialist America. We are a republic. We are not a socialist country, okay? Nowhere in history does socialism work, nor has it ever, okay? So that's what we're getting a crash course on now. This is Socialism 101, guys, where we stand in line on limited hours and we get limited things. If you want to, you know, go a little deeper, look at Venezuela, go look at Cuba, go look at this stuff. This is socialism right now. They're preparing us for what's to come. Unless we get off our asses, get to work, speak up, stand up, and protest for our rights. We have that right to assemble. We have that right to take action, and that's exactly what we have to do. So whether it be the people who've been affected with weddings, businesses, farming, whatever the case may be, unemployment, I mean, all of these things, well, we're like, some people are like, I don't get it, I'm okay. Some people are making more money on unemployment than they've ever made in their whole life. Ever. They don't want to get off employment. They've never had it so good. They're the ones that are saying, hey, we don't want to open up. You're going to kill people. We hope you go play with your kids and die on the playground. You know, I always hear the left talking about the right, that we're so angry and we're so crazy. But the truth of the matter is, you cannot speak a political conversation with a leftist without them going absolutely unhinged, falsely accusing you of all of the things that you're not, for your views. And so it's frustrating. Let me look at these comments. Jeffrey, my son's won on one aid at school and is still getting paid. His teacher's still getting paid and you're not. Okay, so you're home or distant learning your son, and you're saying that the teacher's getting paid and you're not. Did anybody see the woman in New Jersey, the teacher in New Jersey who, give me 1 second, I'll bring it up right now, who was screaming at a playground about a freshman who was sitting on the playground? I posted it to my page, but I'm going to play the video. This woman is a teacher, an educator, who was speaking to children. I mean, granted, teenagers can be punks, let's be honest. But this woman had hoped that the kids would die. Literally, I heard the video and I was disgusted. She should be fired. And I also want to say that distance learning, as frustrated as a lot of parents are right now, that is not homeschooling. It's not. I made the decision to homeschool in February just because I don't like the mandates and the changing of the sex ed in schools. I felt that it would be best to homeschool my 11-year-old daughter. And at first it was like a little overwhelming from the paperwork that the state wants you to have for the school. And oh my God, if every, I isn't dotted or T isn't crossed, it's really stressful. However, it's not. The education that my daughter is now receiving at home is far better than what she ever learned in school. She's learning how to be self-sufficient by getting up and knowing her routine. She has to do light housekeeping, and the maturity of her becoming a young woman in just 2 months' time is unreal. And I don't have to hear stories anymore about, Mom, there was a little girl on the bus who's cutting herself, or I'm worried about this kid who's, got black and blue marks all over his arm. And I care. I can't hear those stories and do nothing about it. But at the same time, I don't want my daughter going to school dealing with that every day, especially with educators who don't care about anyone's feelings. And I went to the board, the North Syracuse School Board, to ask about the HPV mandates. And they didn't answer me back. By January, I had followed up, and they still didn't answer me back. And that's why I said, you know what? I got a bad feeling. It's time for me to get her out of school. And then her last day was February 14th. And then by March, we were in quarantine. So God had his hand on me with that. And I will only homeschool from now on. Our way of life has changed for the better in all ways. I couldn't imagine ever sending my daughter, or my younger two, into public school now. And I think the distance learning that I'm finding is like a lot of teachers are trying to get the workload in so that they can say that they did it. But ironically, I actually just got my daughter's progress report, and she hasn't been in school the entire time, and she's passing with B's. And I have to turn in our progress report for how she's been doing at homeschooling. And I don't know what that was. And so I was thinking that I'm going to send in a midterm test for that. But also, because they still have her enrolled, I'm going to go ahead and send her progress report. Because according to the school, I'm already, I guess I disconnected from my episode. I apologize. Here is the video that I was trying to bring up about the kids. I hope you can hear this.
Wait, can we go over there? Can we go over there?
A teacher said that to kids. I've been told that. I have been told if you want to open up the state, I hope you get coronavirus and die and all of these nasty things, you know. But that's what I was meaning about the left. They really, it's like anger, but I've likened it to cognitive dissonance because when you show bills or laws or facts, the only thing that happens is they get really angry. They start calling you names and stuff. And then, you know, when they try to refute their points, it's always fake news points. So, oh my God. All these comments are insanity, Jeffrey. I'm going to block you from my show. Well, I thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight, and I really hope to hear from many of you. I hope that you send me a message. You can always email me. My email is jacksonforthepeople@gmail.com. Every week I'm going to tune in on Mondays just like this at 9 o'clock. I'll do something a little bit better for the sound for when the callers call in so you can hear them better. But the number to call in is 563-999-3072. So write it down so you can call me and talk to me anytime. And let's get it going, guys. I want to know your stories. Keep sending them to me in the emails. And let's get Upstate open. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk soon.